Hey humans, it's Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time here, I do videos on creepy and disturbing things, so if that's also your thing, consider subscribing. So I know everyone is kind of freaking out about this app. A lot of people have been doing videos on it, just talking about what has happened, or even going on the adventures themselves. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will explain very briefly. The app is called Randonautica. It's a free app that basically gives you random coordinates in your area. You can pick an anomaly, a tractor, or a void. Then it tells you to focus on your intent while it finds a location for you. Then you go to the different places to see where it leads. The app warns you to evade COVID laws, not to trespass, not to go alone or at night, don't do anything illegal, you know, basic common sense stuff. So we'll start off a little tame. Here's somebody that wanted to find a glitch in the matrix, was kind of what their intent was. And this is what the app led them to. There's also a pretty famous one that you may or may not have already seen, where these teenagers go out randonauting in the middle of the night, in spite of what the rules advise you to do. And Randonautica basically leads them to the middle of nowhere, and they find this really creepy person just standing in the middle of nowhere, and then it starts to approach their car.
Why did we just go to this fucking quantum point and this whole fucking person is Sky? Oh my fucking god. I can't.
What if the person shows up in my rear view camera?
No, I can't.
I would have GTFO'd quite quickly myself, and this is kind of why I think the app tells you not to do it at night, just because you're more likely to get into trouble that way, whether there's something crazy behind it or just generally speaking, going out at night just makes you look more suspicious. It just doesn't seem like a great idea to mess with any of this at night, and yet that's why people do it, because they'll get more interesting things. Here's a more fun one. One girl said that she focused on her intent to be closure. The app led her to a field of these really beautiful flowers, and the flowers that it led to happened to be the birth flower of her late sister. She even had the flowers tattooed on her arm, as she shows in her photo, matching the flowers up to her arm. So it's spooky, but also that one at least is happy and hopefully gave her actual peace. Someone else was led to an open grave when their intent was an ending. I don't know what's with people using all these like really sinister, scary intents and what they think that's going to lead them to, because whether this is real or not, I don't know. Why do you want to be led to something really scary? But let's be honest, that would probably be me. So the intention that this girl focused on when they were traveling was death.
I just went randonauting and our intention was death. We were on our way to the spot, and I look out my window and there's someone laying in the gutter with their wife literally like on them, holding them. And so I parked and got out, and he got shot. And then she gave me the phone and I had to call the cops, and Darius he wrapped his jacket around the wound, and then the cops came and we got questioned, and I just had to leave. And I just dropped Darius off.
So this one is particularly sad. There's no proof that it actually happened or it didn't. We kind of just have to trust the creator, and based on her pretty genuine crying reaction, it doesn't look like bad acting to me. It does seem like her story was true. And a lot of people were blaming her for manifesting this by focusing her intent on death when she was messing with this app, which to me, an app cannot cause something like this to happen. That's just not a thing. It can't cause somebody to die. However, the fact that it led her to that when she was focusing on death is a little bit, I mean, coincidence or not, yeah, that's scary. That's scary. I would have freaked out. I would have been crying as well. Then there were some boys that were in the middle of nowhere, and they found this.
Fucking doing Randonautica. Oh, and we found this. Oh my god. What the was that? Let's go. Go. And make sure it doesn't close on us. Oh my gosh, it's cold. It's disgusting in here.
Watch out, there's so many black widows in here.
What's behind the corner? Are you recording? Yeah.
Oh, I think this is it.
Is there anything in there?
Oh, thank God. I'm hiding. I'm really gonna find out.
Oh, okay.
Dude, this is cool. Oh, shit.
There's so much mold that's getting
I
out.
think that's it. Probably.
Thankfully, nothing bad seemed to happen to them other than the fact that it was just weird and there was a lot of spiders, which would have been plenty for me to leave. But it just seems like odd. Like, how on earth did it lead them there, and what was that used for? Why was it there? So then I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the whole body in the suitcase thing that was found in Washington state and the teenagers that found the human remains. Some people really believe that there's something crazy sinister behind this, that the people that created the app have something to do with the uncovering of this crime scene. I don't personally think so. I think if enough people are participating in a particular thing, just statistically speaking, somebody is gonna find something like this. We'll get back to that later, but yeah, that one's really creepy and it's crazy. That's gotta take the cake for the craziest thing anybody has found going randonauting, but I also don't think that it's necessarily something conspiracy, sinister, paranormal. I just think that it was a really crazy coincidence. The app just picked up that maybe something was there on the map, and so they just led them there. Other people have just found weird things. People find random fairy circles or just weird rock formations, broken statues or other kind of glitches in the matrix, or what they think are glitches in the matrix. One girl found this really creepy abandoned area that she swears she's lived around there for forever and she has never seen it there before.
I saw these when I was driving, and when I tell you the sound my car made because I hit the brakes so fast, it felt like I was in a fever dream. Then 5 minutes later, not even, I find this house and I'm like, what the time vortex or alternate dimension did I go into? Because A, none of this was on my way to my destination. B, I've lived in this area my whole life and I've never seen this.
And I think that's kind of what the Randonautica app helps you do, is discover things that you never noticed. They call it, blind spots that they're helping you see. Another group found torture devices somewhere. You can see they found these coffins with spikes in them, and then they found another thing that looks like some sort of torture table out in the middle of nowhere. And you would think that a lot of these are either set up or fake, and I'm sure that many of them are, but that particular one, there's no way that that is fake. How would they have set that up? They're gonna make a bunch of coffins and a table and set it up in the middle of nowhere. They were huge. There's no way that was fake. So they thought that maybe it was some kind of cult activity there. Somebody dumped their torture devices. I don't know. That one, there was another couple of kids that went along this rock wall by this little beach, and they went to the other side. And then they found these three men in this little boat that was coming towards them, and they got a little freaked out. So they were going to kind of book it out of there, and they weren't going fast enough. And then they noticed that the men were speeding up towards them, which they freaked out a little bit and left. And I would have too, just because they were speeding up towards them. What do you want? Very scary. So though a lot of these I think could be set up and fake or exaggerated, etc., I also think that a lot of them, there's no way it could be. The guys that found the giant circles of the rocks in those various designs, they could fake that, but it would be very hard. It would take a very, very long time. And in that case, I think it's more likely that they just found that using the app and all these other things that are clearly not set up or fake. Here's my experience. Originally, I was going to make my own Randonautica video vlog thing of me going randonauting and explaining and showing what I found and making a YouTube video out of it. Well, it turns out I did go randonauting, but I did not end up making a video about it. I'll tell you why. My sister went with me and we went for an entire afternoon. We did spend several hours trying this out. It took us to a really cool park with a viewpoint, and it took us to some weird random buildings that were under construction. But other than that, it pretty much just took us to random people's houses. And obviously we weren't going to explore around there. So overall, it was super lame. We didn't find anything cool. We didn't find any like actual things to even look at. And it was just overall just very underwhelming. We got really bored of it pretty quickly because we tried several places. I think we tried like 5 places at least, and there was just nothing there. Or it was places that we obviously, you know, for obvious reason could not go into because we didn't want to get in trouble. So back to what I was saying earlier, you know, about the suitcase is that, yeah, if enough people do something, some weird things are going to happen. What you don't see are all the mundane trips that happen. People probably do a lot of randonauting where nothing happens, they can't find anything interesting, and of course they're not going to post those videos on social media because they're boring. And so what you don't see is the many randonauting trips that nothing happens and are super boring. And then couple that with focusing on your intent and people thinking that your intent and focusing on it while it's finding the location will manifest that thing. I think personally for a lot of those, once you're thinking about that, your brain is going to naturally try to pick anything that could connect to that intention in the environment that you're brought to. So if you think of the color red, you're gonna find something red because you're gonna try to find anything red. Or if you just think of death, you're gonna relate to any place that you end up as being related to death. If you found a dead flower, you would be like, oh, death. Or if you were led to a graveyard, you'd be like, oh, a graveyard. You're gonna like purposely connect those things. So remember that as you're watching these videos and take this all with a grain of salt. It is a really interesting app, and I would actually go out and try it again because I do wonder if I had done something wrong. I will admit I tried to think about my intentions as the app instructed me to do, but I probably wasn't specific enough. And again, even though I know my brain would try to pick something out, it might have still made the trip more interesting. Overall though, I am still really intrigued with this app. I am not totally throwing away the theory that something crazy could be going on, either a conspiracy or some sort of paranormal activity that's leading people to these things. I do think that, like I said before, most of the experiences more likely are what I explained, but there might be some instances. It is very interesting that so many people are finding a lot of coincidences. At some point, that many coincidences are no longer coincidences. So who knows? If you have any tips for me and what you think I might have done wrong, or if you've had any successful randonauting stories, please leave them in the comments so that I can refine my methods and see if I can try this again. And if I found something interesting, I would post a video about it. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you want to, and I will see everybody in the next video.